Hey guys, welcome to the Manchester United News channel. Subscribe to the channel to not miss any news, leave your like, and share, you are very important for the growth of the channel. Let's go to the video.
We are told that Manchester United and Borussia Dortmund have reached what's been described as an outline agreement for the loan signing of Jadon Sancho. Willingness from all parties to get this deal done. Important details still to be resolved and no timescale on how long it will take. Gents, I know that Borussia Dortmund want to get this done so that Jadon Sancho can join their training camp in Marbella as soon as this weekend, but there's no guarantee at this stage it will be finalised this weekend. But Stephen, if it does get done, good move for all parties for you?
Everybody be delighted. I think the loan move suits this for United as well because they're going to want for his stock and price to come back up, and they need him playing football at a decent level to achieve that. They don't want to be selling him cut price for what they paid for him as well. So him going off and playing for Dortmund, if he is successful and does well and gets back to those levels, will mean a much better fee they could actually acquire for him in the summer if they want to sell him.
Also for Jadon Sancho, he's probably looking at it as well, you know, like Gary Neville's mentioned for the new minority owners, it is a bit of a 6-month audition for Erik ten Hag. So is Sancho and his representatives thinking, look, have a great loan spell. You might potentially be at Manchester United longer than the current manager. Now, that sounds a bit mad at the moment, but things change so quickly in football. I mean, Manchester United could look very, very different come end of May, June time. Yeah,
absolutely. And like I said, if Ten Hag, if they continue on in this vein of form, there's going to be a lot of question marks about his tenure there and how long he's going to be. And if Sancho goes off and does really well, there's a possibility of bringing back a player that's been performing at a high level and bringing him back in the squad in the summer and see how he fits in with the team and the squad again. And, you know, as football, things happen so fast and things can change in the blink of an eye.
Stephen, there's no sign of a reconciliation at the moment between Erik ten Hag and Jadon Sancho. Just in your experience when you were playing, have you seen and experienced a situation like this when somebody has just been ostracised from the squad altogether, let alone playing, but, you know, not even eating with the first team by all accounts?
There's been times in teams where players who've just fallen out for, it can be one of two reasons. The manager has fallen out with the player and the player is no longer involved, or the player is desperate to leave, so they've pushed to one side. And that often happens. You see a player is desperate to get a move and the manager realises he doesn't want them part of the squad anymore. He puts them to one side and leave them to either get their head right and come back involved or stay off to the side. And there's been players that managers have just decided, I don't want to part of my team. I don't think they're a good fit for the criteria, for the atmosphere around the change room. And they'll ostracise them to different change rooms, back down with the kids. You know, it happens. This does happen in football, and it happens more regularly than you would think so. I've never seen it with a player of this high stature and price and value ever really before, because the amount of money that Man U invested in him, for them not to find some common ground to get him back involved is crazy, I think.
You're not naming any names, are you?
No, not at the moment.
I think I remember the year, Stephen, you're talking about. I wonder if he has to leave the WhatsApp group when you go on loan, though, because, you know, leaving the group, sorry, I'm going out on loan.
I doubt he does. I'm sure he's still in there. I'm sure he's still friends with the lads. This is the thing, as a player, you're still going to have your friendships in the team. You're not going to be ostracised by the players, because even though you may not be, you know, in cahoots with the manager, you're still going to have good friends in that change room or people that you get on well with. You know, they might not be seen eating with you every day in the canteen because the manager might think you're on their side, but you're still going to have friendships and mates that you get on well with, and it's part and part of it. But this is something he has to go and get himself back to a level where he's comfortable playing, get him back pushing for England, because we all know what a talent he is.
Yeah, as you mentioned, it does look like a move that could work for all parties, particularly because Jadon Sancho still got 2 years left on his contract. United have the option of a further year, so potentially until 2027. A player that doesn't have that long left on his contract is Anthony Martial. Only 6 months left. No sign that Manchester United are going to trigger the 1-year option in his contract. There are interests from Saudi Arabia and Fenerbahce as well. What have you made of the situation with Anthony Martial, and is it now time to go their separate ways?
Yeah, it does feel like it's run its course. A player that always threatens to look like oh, there's something there. He's going to be a performance. It's finally going to click. And it just hasn't happened. He's never hit the numbers. He's never hit the level that everybody expected or what his talent really expected of him. So for Man U and for him, I think at this point, I can't see how they could possibly renew his contract extend unless there's an option to keep him on and get a bigger fee from him, which I can't see that happening because, again, he's not performing at a high enough level to warrant the fee that they probably want. So I can see this just running its course. Whether he stays till the summer, they don't get players in, they need to hold on to him just for numbers. I don't think Man U would be too unhappy with that, but realistically, you can see him going.
Yeah, because the issue the United might have if they do trigger that option is that he could sit on these big wages and see out the final year.
It's an ideal situation for him. If Man U trigger your contract, you know that you're in a position where you don't have to go anywhere. If you want, you could potentially go on loan, but you're still going to earn high earnings where, you know, unless you go to like Saudi Arabia, no one's going to match the wages he's probably currently on at Manchester United. So, you know, from a player's perspective, you know, in the mindset that he would, if they were going to do that, that's not a bad thing for him. Man U, can you really see them doing that in this current market? The money they're going to have to pour into him, I just can't see it.
It's an intriguing loan for him as well if it does go through, because it's a club, an area he knows so well.
Yeah.
You know, you give a lot of credit to youngsters when they go abroad at such a young age, but he did really well there.
Yeah.
He's now got some certain home comforts. So, and I'm sure Manchester United fans will be really interested to see how he gets on as well, because you feel the vast majority back to the manager, but as we said earlier, so much can change in such a short space of time.
Yeah, so potentially Jadon Sancho and Anthony Martial on their way out of Old Trafford. What about incomings? Well, striker seems to be the problem position for Manchester United right now. They seem to be offered strikers rather than pushing and being very, very proactive about getting them. We've heard about RB Leipzig's Timo Werner, Bayern Munich's Eric Choupo-Moting as well. Are these the kind and the calibre of striker that a club like Manchester United should be looking at in the January window?
Well, a club like Manchester United 10 years ago, no. A club like Manchester United now, in their current form and their current positioning and where they are in the league and where they're, you know, I know it's so hard to talk about Man United, and I can't picture going to Old Trafford and not being this, you know, arena where it was almost impossible to get results. And that's what it was for my whole career. But that's changed, and United are not what they were when it comes to. They still are a massive club. They're still an institution. Financially, what they can demand, the people that they can get to their club, but are the top strikers wanting to play for Manchester United because what they can offer? Can they offer trophies currently? Probably not. Can they offer top-end Champions League football? No. So that's the difference.
But we look at Wout Weghorst. So we know these January kind of transfers do happen, but you do wonder with Manchester United. It seems unthinkable that they're completely out of Europe.
Yeah.
But Eric Ten Hag, and credit to him for this, he played strongest teams in all the domestic games last year, and the reward for that was a League Cup.
Yeah.
But round of 32, Barcelona, yes, that's glamorous, but you don't want to play two-legged Barcelona ties, do you, when you're trying to get in the top four? No. Now, at the end of the day, he did a very good job. But I think potentially Man United fans might think we don't need the biggest squad in the world if you're just concentrating on getting back in that top four and hopefully for them an FA Cup run.
Yeah. Stephen, there are 9 points off the top four just now, but Eric Ten Hag is quick to point out that there's the imminent returns of various players who have been injured, the likes of Casemiro and Mason Mount, to name two. Can you realistically see United mounting a challenge for those top four places?
Are they potentially able to put a run together where they push themselves back up the table? Yes, with the players they get back if they're all fit. But none of those players have really hit form even when they have been playing the season. I know they've been carrying injuries, but none of them have been at the level that will sustain Manchester United get back into the top four. And then you're taking into account the other teams that are in that position. You're looking at Arsenal, you're looking at Liverpool, you're looking at City, Villa, Newcastle potentially, Tottenham as well, players back fit. Do you think United can jump ahead of any of those teams? Currently, I don't see that. But listen, anything, like I said, teams can change so quickly, and it just takes for one of those two players to hit form and get them going on a routine or get them going on a bit of a charge, but I would say it's unlikely.
Thank you all for watching. Subscribe to the channel to not miss anything, leave your like and your comment, that is very important for the channel growth. Until the next video.
Forever is the strangest thing. It's shorter than you think.